Okay, Paul.
Mark.
And
Hi,
welcome, Custodial Mark Graybeal. Mark, say hello.
How was Tachola? Hello, good friend.
And what language is that?
My Lakota Sioux. We're part native.
Okay, well, I'm here with Custodial Mark, and since you mentioned Lakota Sioux, let's jump into it. Where are you from?
I'm from the Pahasapa, the Black Hills of South Dakota. Very proud of our native heritage. Having studied 4 years at Black Hills State, Indian Studies, we called it then, now Native American. 2 semesters of the language. I failed English, but I studied linguistics and can say goodbye in about 30 languages. And some greetings and important things like where's the bathroom and how much.
Did you have a degree in linguistics?
No, I attended 4 to 5 years at Black Hills State, but I have maybe slight dyslexic and poor math and English, so I was unable to finish my degree. I'd actually only need 4, maybe 5 classes, but that was 30 years ago.
Okay, and I noticed in Custodial Mark, we're going to get to the name Custodial in a minute, but before that, I noticed you got this, well, describe it. What am I pointing at?
I've the different names, Sachem pouch and...
Oh, no, you labeled it. I want you to describe it for us.
A leather bag, and we keep our good medicine in here. Often it might be something that might give us power.
It's a little leather bag. It seems kind of... it's got a zipper on it, but it's got a symbol of a circle.
That's a small dream catcher.
Small dream catcher, and you wear it around your neck. And that's a medicine bag?
Yes, this is a cheaper version, but I've had several, and being colorful, I often have worn them to show my native spirit, and it's nice to know that a lot of other people start to take on the native culture after all the things America or the world has done ecology-wise, that they're going back to spirituality.
What's in it? What's in your medicine bag?
Well, I can't really probably go into that. Mine is more modern. I do have a gold dollar, and you would maybe even have like a feather if there was a special bird, soil. I have the gold dollar, a Sacagawea dollar, because now with society, I know that if anything happens, that dollar might get me a ride home or a telephone call.
But is it like, how some people regard mantras, that it's more powerful if it's kept secret?
Yes, I guess I only know a little bit about that. But
the benefit of this radio thing that we're doing is no one will listen to it, so your secret is completely safe.
Oh, good.
Custodial Mark. I love the name. It sounds like a military name, like, Private Mark, General Mark, Custodial Mark. But what on earth, why, who, what does that name refer to?
I don't know where I did grab it first. Over 20 years ago, since like 1972, I've been working in cleaning field besides my 4-year studies in Native American or the social sciences to be a teacher, but I can't yet. And just later, when business cards came out or the internet, then I grabbed that moniker to call myself. So some people might see someone else and say, oh, they're only a laborer, a janitor. Well, I've done enough, and with a lot of the jobs, we actually had to study and practice and test on a lot of the things we do. So I'm more of an engineer with my college, that I consider it a custodial engineer rather than just a janitor. They pick up trash and do something else. I can go in and I manage places. I see what needs to be taken care of.
Bringing it to Marfa specifically, as I think I mentioned to you before, you are what the Wizard of Oz would have called a good deed doer. But in your case, I'm going to sum up what I see you doing, and then you tell me what I'm seeing wrong or what I'm seeing right. You are a fellow who rides around town in a very customized, elongated bicycle. Your accoutrement is tons and tons of extra stuff. Yeah, like it's you got the watch ring, we've seen that, but you have the medicine bag, you have always earphones, you have all types of stuff. So it gives you distinctive appearance, and you do fix-it-up work, but you don't do the standard contract, this many hours, I'll bill you later kind of stuff. It seems like you just look around for good deeds to do. You start doing them, someone recognizes it, and then you're in like Flint.
Well, possibly. I get confused now on how I started some of the jobs, and again, thanks to my early clients that I did approach and says, I'd like to do this for you, washing the windows and or sweeping out an area. Started the grass in front of the radio station, and now I have yard work jobs, more work than I can actually do. And I apologize again to a half dozen good people. I haven't been able to have time or energy to get back and take care of their place as they requested.
How busy are you?
I only have now, again, 21 hours scheduled with a few places, and then the rest half days can be some of these other clients that aren't set businesses writing checks. But I definitely could work 12 hours a day. I often only need to work 1 hour to survive, 2.5 to do a little better, and maybe 5.5. And I feel semi-retired. I get sore muscles. If I keep working, I could do a 12-hour day, which I have here, but I feel it today after yesterday.
This brings up a lot of points. How old are you?
I guess I'm 56, I like to say, for the next 5 or 10 years.
Okay. Big smile from Mark. What? By the way, was I right that frequently you get work by doing first, and then people, you just do it first without even?
I guess so. I try not to do some places where a couple factors. One is that they wouldn't want me to, or some places that could or should pay me would not, so I'm not going to go clean the whole city, thank you. But definitely good people, and some people that can't get some done. For the able-bodied people, then I don't need to help them, but elderly, other poor, they're too busy. And when there's something that needs doing, I don't need to get paid to go dust and just fine. I tackle fairly large jobs that.
What's your biggest job?
Well, I whacked the weeds behind the Dollar General and thought that, I was going to get $50. And it says, good, I could take 2.5 hours. Says, nope, that took 5 hours and a good bit of effort. But
did you get some $50?
Yes, I did get paid, and a few other jobs were a little bit much, but I have some of the gear. You just need gloves, the trash bags, rake, or tools, and I think that's important for this town, is to get the litter out, weeds that are fire hazards. We have a lot of yard people with the trucks and such. They're staying busy too. I could tackle small jobs with a bike, come in, and I don't have the overhead of gas insurance.
So let me jump on that, because you mentioned that you could actually work less and still get by, which makes me think that you have very minimal expenses.
Yes.
So where do you live, and how do you eat, and all the rest?
Okay.
What do you spend money on?
Well, I wish to put a plug in for my brother Paul, who more or less saved me. I think we call it rescued from Phoenix, the economic depression over there.
Not to mention the town I don't like that town at all. It's too
pretty big, busy.
Too big, too much asphalt, too much heat, too few trees, too contrived. It's not like, my great-great-grandparents came from Phoenix. No, at best your grandparents did, and they went there when they were like 40. So.
And there's a dozen towns. I lived in Mesa, which I might consider similar to Marfa, but it's all one big metropolis. I pedaled 10 miles to work each day, 20 a day, 3,000 miles a year with my bicycle fully loaded, and sometimes the buggy to ASU when I worked there the previous 5 years.
Why would you consider Mesa to be similar, or as you say, similar?
It was a pioneer town, and both starting with M.
Okay, how big is Mesa?
Mesa only has 400,000 people.
Okay, I'm going to reject your comparison, though you said it in good faith. It is not similar to Marfa.
Well, the downtown, too.
In any case, you live with the fabulous Paul Graybeal, who's famous for which store?
Moonlight Gemstones, Silverwork, and Lapidary, which I was supposed to be helping, but I fit in with cleaning and yard work, better odd jobs.
And is he giving you a good rental price?
Yes. Free room and board. I eat organic chicken and steak at night, and they're trying to watch my diet, but everybody knows I eat at Stripes, and I had Blackwell hamburger for breakfast here.
So you don't need a lot to get by, and so you do these good deeds or these custodial jobs, hence the name custodial mark, and it says that on your business card. But do you do these things for free, and if so, how does that figure into your personal philosophy and economic view?
Well, when I first came to town, maybe I was hustling for jobs because I went to a few of the places where I could have been a caregiver. I've been a butler, chauffeur, tutor, and teacher's aide, working all these different jobs. So I went to the community action and mentioned my skills in case I could get a job, and the city, and I tried to get on with the school. And I offered that if there is poor elderly that living on subsistence, I will volunteer some time to help them, because I know how it is that they're barely getting by and they can't do some of this other stuff. And by doing this, I knew I'd have my foot in the door or visible, and that the other jobs would come after I proved myself. I offered 2.5-hour jobs, and I still do, and then some other people I've tried to help recently, but apologize again to the many good people I have not gotten to. It's nothing personal. I've just gotten more offers of work than I can actually get done. Consider myself lazy sometimes. I'm just reminded today, says, "Oh, you're not lazy, you're all over." Well, every other day I'd like to rest, and after working hard, arthritis sets in, and ailments. Everybody's got the aches and pains. So if I can get up and out and help and do the jobs I have to, and always my philosophy was do one more thing, just something a little better, or one more job. I try to do 3 good deeds a day, here, there, and other places.
As a good deed?
Huh?
Does this count?
This does. I guess to help you, and even if it's in the archives, for Mr. Beebe, who I talked and befriended when I first came also, and I appreciate many of his philosophies of the rock and roll, the Airstream land, the movies, and that he recycles. I'm very big on that. We'd get into that some other time. I wish the town did a lot more on that, because ASU worked on that quite a bit, but in this town, we're just doing a little.
My eye was just caught by the fact that you were wearing a wedding ring. Are you married, or is that a wedding ring, or what's your story?
Well, somewhat. I was married twice. First to Filipina, have my son, who's now taking care of himself in Phoenix, Marcus
is his
Starbucks.
last name Graybeal? Marcus
Yes,
Graybeal?
Marcus and Antonio Magaling Graybeal, and just hope that he wouldn't have trouble going through the border crossings outside of Phoenix. But he's okay now. I don't have to pay child support as of last year, so now, for the first time in nearly 20 years, I'm buying toys for myself, new bicycles, guitars to help promote music, new guitars going up to the library, just got new strings on that, second for the kids, and bicycle gear, a chainless bicycle like what we're going to be getting, the bike rental program, talking with the people of the Wrong Gallery on that. And I would promote bicycles a lot more in town. I wish more people did. And if people can't bring their bikes here, I know there's some to rent. That a lot of people have bikes that they could actually borrow, and I guess they probably do. But
tell us about your bicycle. Tell us, it is not your standard bicycle, and then tell us what is behind it. You called it a buggy?
Well, I want to mention that I have 3 bikes, as I often have: a his, a hers, the new hers, chainless shaft drive, and ours, the tandem. I'm riding the tandem today. The bicycle built for 2, that was for a second Filipino wife, but my son and I use that a lot. And
so these all come from Arizona, your bicycles?
Yes. The newest one is Sonoma, and that's up for sale. It was just checking out, but it may be not what I really want.
When did your second marriage end?
I did do a colorful thing, since things weren't always so well for me.
Polygamy.
After the first divorce, and troubled times with the first marriage, survived a van wreck, bankruptcy, divorce. I was given the opportunity. I did something kind of fun or foolish. I went to the Philippines to meet and marry a pen pal. And I thought, free vacation, that surely they're not going to want me because of what the first wife had been calling me. But it was a fun time. And talking to Lon Taylor, I'll talk about the Philippine history later. But this second marriage to the young person, I thought she'd be my retirement, help her get teach in Arizona. She could have, but the people just more or less used me.
What you have said is so interesting that it requires more focus. So you, after your first marriage to a Filipina, a woman from the Philippines.
After 10 years.
After 10 years, you had a son. You, through, as a pen pal, on email or in letters?
A lady that became my aunt, a family friend that we used to go to Filipino parties in Phoenix. Every weekend was some event with the Filipina Club.
Okay, you went to the Filipina Club, you met someone there, and then she went back to the Philippines and you corresponded with her?
Well, the aunt who was my age said, would you want to hook up with my niece? And I communicated some, but it all went so fast. But I was hoping for the best, and as most people say, no, you're just going to get used, and maybe I did, and it appears so.
How much younger was she?
Quite a bit younger. She was just getting out of high school then, and I was saying I helped her. I paid for her college, so she became a math teacher just as we needed. So as she was arriving in 2005 with her degree, she would only need to get certified, but nothing turned out of that. So I just forget that as a lesson learned.
This is so wonderful that I need to unpack this. So this woman said, you got to meet my niece. You said, okay. You start emailing with her first, correct?
Or telephone calls and letters.
That goes on for 12 months.
Not even enough before the aunt's vacation in June of 2001.
How many months did it go on?
Only 7, possibly. I'm bad with the numbers.
Good enough, 7 months. Then you say, I'm going to come over to the Philippines and we're going to say hello.
See if it works, yes.
Okay. So you save some cash, you go to the Philippines, and she is very pretty, obviously, because everyone who's graduated from high school is very pretty. And you say, I'm the person you've been talking with. I'm sure that you sent her a photograph or something before that. And how long were you in the Philippines with her?
I was there 3 weeks, and it was very interesting seeing Lake Taal and Mount Pinatubo, the volcano. I felt very controlled, that I was protected by armed security for the family in this beautiful town.
Okay, stop. Okay, so you're there for a few
3 weeks,
and you meet her, and she's very nice. Armed security, where does that come in?
I might suggest for much of any people, even from back then, in case of kidnappings and some terrorists, that somebody, a family, or in the town, the ex-military sergeant, corporal, or a police sergeant had arms. They were our drivers often when you go
this
around.
Woman has a little cash. Perhaps her family does.
No.
And okay, but nonetheless, her family is worried that she'll be kidnapped.
Me?
They're worried that you, Mark Graybeal, custodial Mark, will be kidnapped. And so they supply you with military custodians, chaperones.
Yes, when we went out touristing.
Okay. Someone says, Mark, this is a good thing. A little voice in your head says it's a good thing. She seems to like you. The family approves of you. And who on earth doesn't want a U.S. visa? And so you guys decide to tie the knot.
Yes.
Where?
In Naic, south of Manila, and it is odd that even though we'd been talking about this, and since it was more or less, as they would say, arranged, it is not a mail-order bride, I did not get to propose until an hour before the service with a lawyer of that community. But as I like to point out, I didn't have anything better to do after bankruptcy, divorce. I was between jobs again, just about homeless, sleeping on a friend's couch. So the vacation was nice, and says, well, I have a chance to have somebody that's going to be a professional here very shortly. And in my older years, I take care of her, get the education and job. And in a very few years, I will need some assistance as I possibly retire. But that was all for naught. But
so, did she seem to actually really like you and want to get married?
Oh, yes. I would believe so. Everything seems good. That they say trust in God, and I say trust in me or you, and you try to be realistic.
They say trust in God and keep your powder dry.
Yes, something like, yes.
Which means be, intelligent and faithful. But
yes.
In any case, so this woman seemed to like you. How is it that you have a wedding scheduled if you only propose an hour before it occurs?
We had to go through quite a bit of legalities, and I was one of the younger men to be marrying a young lady when I was at the U.S. Embassy. There was at least a dozen of us. And so that's interesting. And this type of thing happens. And others say all these relationships don't work. But I would say half of the American ones don't work anyhow. So what's the odds?
So do you think, here's my question. Is this the behavior of an insane man or a man who's perhaps very, very sane?
Oh, that's it's very difficult. Been accused of both. Tried to think rationally, and some of it was emotional, but it went over quite a bit of time. And I said, just before going, I lost the job. I don't have money to go, so the family paid for more or less everything. I only had $200 to my name, which I put into gold dollars, the Sacagawea dollars that I took and handed out to friends, family, tourists, my new extended family there, one at a time. And I wonder how many still have them. I used to make medallions around your neck of the Sacagawea. Wow. That's a great story too.
So how long after you married the bride did you come? Were you in the Philippines? How long before you came back to the United States?
Very few days, and very disappointed in the fact that I did not get a honeymoon or party or anything else like that. So once that happened, I knew I was more or less used. Then again, they just say trust in God, but very few happen with that. But that's just an interesting thing that happens to a fair number of Americans. I didn't see any ladies that fit me for the previous 30, 40 years, and married the first Filipina meeting in Phoenix, and that worked out until they realized that I'm very too colorful or too much stuff. So,
last question on it, and then we'll move on. How long were you married?
It actually lasted a while, in the fact that I was only with her the 3 weeks there and no honeymoon. And then it took a couple of years to finish paying my taxes and to process the paper. So when she did arrive, she realized she didn't really want to live with me, or maybe they knew that before. Seeing how colorful I was and stuff around my neck, she didn't appreciate that. And so nothing was similar to marriage the June in 2005. So that was not marriage, and I knew I needed to divorce her. I had to do my part to bring her here so that I could do the divorce, since I realized that I was used for her immigration. She's doing well in the Chandler area with a new family. So yeah, more illegals come by way of lonely men as such, overstaying visas, school or work or marriage, than cross over the border.
You have more than once said you were colorful, and let's talk about that. I'll describe you from the neck down. A fabulous haircut. It looks like it's something new just happened. Did you do that on your own? Okay. By the way, right around his ears is shaved, but he's got a bushy hair aside from that. You have Sylvania earphones around your neck.
Radio.
You have a lovely thingy around your neck that seems to
Bandanas.
be... A bandana. Why?
And, well, they've been utilitarian, and I've used them a fair amount, even since youth, I might guess. Wanting to be a cowboy when I was a little boy, maybe. I had boots and a hat back in the Black Hills. But I like to have a little more colorfulness, and I've been accused of being gay, but I says no, I'm merely happy. But I like to add some color. So this one, wherever I got it, has Yosemite Sam on it, so that's colorful, and another one has hot spices. But they are used for several reasons. In the winter, I don't like cold neck. In the summer, I get them wet, and they are a cooling trend, like a cool color. So the blood going to your brain gets cooled by the carotid arteries. And if we do have dust storms here and there, so I do cover up, or I'm working with the weeds or dust in a house.
Okay.
So I have to have at least one bandana handy if it's not on my neck.
An old cowboy trick, fitting.
Yes.
Okay, let's move down. You got some glasses. Are these for far away or close up?
Always cheap reading glasses. I have to go through a lot because, and I keep them tied to myself so I don't lose them. Anything close up, I got a
medicine bag. Let's go.
Hopefully that protects me from any more evil.
Mm-hmm. And medicine bag harkens back to your Lakota Indian roots.
Yes.
And we mentioned, I don't know if we mentioned it at this particular time, that it's possible you were conceived in Deadwood, which is the non-fictional location of the fictional cowboy series of the same name, and that's in the Dakotas. You have a bunch of stuff here. Hopefully, it looks like some cash,
wallet,
some notes. Yeah.
Well, lottery ticket, and always keep some money handy. So, yeah, too much stuff always. I don't know
what's the best
why.
you've done in the lottery?
Maybe $50. I keep hoping for the million. If I got too many million, again, I'd spread most of it amongst the family, do more good deeds. I only need enough to do a world tour.
Since people are listening, let's just get this straight. Obviously, if you make up to $500,000, that goes to you and the family. But if you get over $500,000, then you start thinking about the people who interview you and ask you questions and care about what you say. Is there more in this pocket?
I got cameras. This old camera works, and I have 99 clips, 2 hours of videos from my last year's bike ride from Marfa. I gave up on the town, and I just pedaled out whichever way the wind blows. I made it to Tucumcari. I wanted to see Route 66.
That's the
Roswell.
next story. We're staying with. So you carry two cameras with you.
Yeah.
Do you have a phone? Are you aware that cameras?
Two phones. Local phone, which everybody needs to use to call me for jobs, and I still keep my old phone, the Phoenix number, because a lot of important contacts, business or whatever has to be there. Bags, rags, and tags. I have everything on me usually, and even with the new bicycle shorts, I couldn't help but start overstuffing these with things I might need. So I just did a little bit of work and could do some more.
I want to know about your bicycle. I want you to describe it, and then we're going to talk about the trips you've taken on it.
Okay, the usual bike was given to me. It is inexpensive, only a Diamondback, a mountain bike, and I've overrode it, rebuilt it twice previously, wearing out the gears, going thousands of miles.
So you are a bike mechanic?
No, not really mechanic. I have to try to help maintain some. I even bought more tubes to fix mine, and a few other bicycles repair flat. So
okay, let's talk about what distinguishes your bicycle from other bicycles.
It's old, worn out, junky.
I'll start off. You pull a lot of stuff with it.
A Schwinn trailer, now converted into a wood platform and a plastic tub. A lot of handyman gear in the bottom, whether it's cleaning or
Give me 5
yard.
things that you carry on your bicycle that the average Joe does not.
A bathroom caddy.
A bathroom? Oh, that's for cleaning a bathroom.
Yeah,
it's not like you're pulling along a little bathroom, a little porta potty. Okay.
But I've even I got called to go fix the toilet twice at the Dollar General, so now they had to pay my professional wages to go do maintenance like that because they weren't able to find somebody to go do it, so I earned fair money.
Give me 4 more things that you carry along that the average cyclist does not.
Always a broom to sweep up things, bags to clean up.
Full-size broom?
And a small one for
2 brooms.
Yeah, at least 2 brooms, big one. I used to be carrying the push broom, but I don't like the physics of that. A good broom, I could work faster or more efficiently cleaning fair-sized areas.
Okay, even though you sometimes carry at least two brooms, I'm going to count that as one item. So 3 more items that Mark Graybeal, custodial Mark Graybeal, who's a brother of Paul, who runs the Moonlight Gemstones, who comes from the Dakotas, who has had 2 wives, 1 child, has siblings who are all over the place, but has some roots in Alpine. Paul, 3 more things you carry on your bicycle that the average Joe does not.
Window cleaning pole and gear.
I'm opposed to that. It's a fraud. Why do you think that's better than water?
Well, I carry often a couple gallons of water.
No, let's stop right here. Do you actually think that stuff cleans a window better than water?
I often use mostly water, vinegar, some glass cleaner, or a few drops of dish soap. So if I'm cleaning our large windows here, I can go do that, knock off, and get $20 an hour. Or some small jobs, I only need like $5 or $7 to set up. And
well, wait. So who pays you $20 an hour? What kind of work?
As I did the windows the week before for the radio station, for free. That's my contribution. I was asked by neighboring stores to clean their windows and gave them the Marfa chamber discount, and it only took me so long, got paid more than I asked, and the other person is not a member of the chamber, so I charge the professional fee, but it only took a half hour. So in that hour, I earned $20 an hour.
Okay, so maybe you don't have as much weird stuff as I thought. Maybe basically all you do is you're just a guy who rides around with a lot of cleaning equipment. Do you have anything else there? Anything kind of strange? Do you carry any weapons on your bicycle?
Oh, no.
Are you a pacifist? What's your...
Somewhat a pacifist. I used to carry shuriken in my wallet in case someone wanted to rob me. I'd
What's
give them the pointed star, but the airport told me I shouldn't be carrying it on the airplane 20 years ago, so I stopped carrying it in my wallet.
Well, when was the last time you were in an airplane?
For my dad's funeral in 2005 up in New Hampshire.
Well, I'm sorry that your dad passed, but I do want to say that this is a solvable problem. It might be that you can carry your shuriken, your throwing star, for years and years at a time and just not take it on the plane.
Yes.
In any case, so you're no weapons on your bicycle?
I have been... I could be my body a weapon. I sure don't look like it now, but I keep thinking of it. We studied and practiced martial arts as in youth with my native friends, but I am out of shape that way. And I got beat up the year before. 3 punk kids ran up to me as I rode my bike and buggy home from a healthcare job taking care of an old man. They came, the kid knocked me off the bike, hit me in the head, and then proceeded to kick me as I'm down. I could have killed them easily, hand to the throat or eyes, but I thought, I was too shocked, and it just didn't kick in. But I could have killed all 3 of them with moves I know, and then they would be dead. I could have gotten away for self-defense, but I got away with a black eye and hurt feelings, but and if I had a gun, I could have shot them, but I did not have time to pull that out. If I didn't have time to use my move, that would have been most effective at that time. I have carried nunchucks for like 20 years in my backpack, and the police department even saw when I was cleaning that was funny, and they let me have it because in a way you're not supposed to have them, and again you would hardly ever have a reason to, but I can do much with my hands if necessary. If someone is trying to do me, I have jumped in between other domestic violence fights and at least stopped them and haven't got beat up for those.
Philosophically, what are your views on the outsider who just sees you would think, well, this guy must have kind of radical views to fit his radical lifestyle.
Yes,
well,
maybe.
Go ahead, sum them up.
Well, very democratic, the native spirit and civil rights. My mom was a community action worker until she got her master's degree at Black Hills State before I attended there. So that follows through, and worked for the Democratic Robert F. Kennedy was the first time I helped there. I met George McGovern twice, once at the School of Mines, but I had lunch with him as journalist for my high school in Spearfish, South Dakota. I met several interesting
George
people
McGovern,
anti-war.
But he was the senator from, I know he's a president, but he was a senator from South Dakota.
Yes.
And you interviewed him, or you met him, had dinner with him when you were in high school?
Lunch. The other students were more of the interviewers. I was a photographer, so at least three of us. And I found the photograph of that also, so that was interesting. And I didn't know all of his history, but was starting to get into this at the time, and greatly appreciated that.
Let me throw some labels at you. You tell me if any of them fit. Are you a pacifist?
Yes, I am, and if you disagree, I could hurt you greatly.
Are you a communist?
I could be in the sense of the Native American spirit that we share. We are a community.
Mm-hmm. Do you vote?
I got to vote for the first time, thank you, Texas. I had a colorful past in my youth, so I was ineligible for the previous 40 years. And so it was nice, and actually just got my voter ID card, so I may get a post office box for the first time.
By colorful past, were you convicted of a felony?
Yes, I had sold herb back in the 70s, and so I was punished and rehabilitated.
In any case, you couldn't vote for a while. You were busted. Now you can, and you voted for. Is it a secret? It should be private ballot, but.
I'll say Obama.
I'm
for
a
that.
black guy. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't want to get into politics too much because everybody has their views. Some people are opposed and are good people. And we don't go into politics when I'm working for them, thank you. Because if they do, then I'm probably not going to be working for them. Let's
move on. You, besides being a custodial guy, also have a really good caregiver skills, right?
Yes, my grandmother was a PNLR nurse, and I helped her through 4 operations, 2 pacemaker and a hip replacement before I moved to the Phoenix area, and then she had to go into a nursing home and passed on. But I learned some of my nursing skills from her in the early 70s, but I got my training as a nursing assistant since, and then I had worked 5 nursing homes in 5 years, one for 2 years, till 2 times you overwork, get burned out, and lose jobs that way. Nothing ever bad, but I feel like there was discrimination when other people were in and out doing this and that. And the first time I oversleep, that I come to work the next day and find out that I was let go. So okay, and I've done private duty a fair number of times and lived 5 years with a quadriplegic and was allowed to do professional nursing work, which I was trained by the nurse or the mother and my friend to do. Now I'm only a certified caregiver, the basic, and several times first aid responder.
Do you think this is something you're good at?
Yes, my aptitude is good for that, and possibly, like I worked daycare one year. I would have been a school teacher. I drove school bus, but those jobs are not in the offering here. But it's nice that I don't need to go for that. That my just doing yard work and cleaning keeps me active and outdoors, and I get my variety.
I want to know what you've done on that bicycle, where you've gone. Tell me about your longest ride and your adventures.
I started when I was in grade school. taking first little rides around the block, so I had the adventure spirit. First ride at 15 from Rapid City with a department store 10-speed from Rapid to Wall Drug, that's 60 miles into the desert a bit, and worked on the farm for a weekend. I've done a few rides in the hills, but not that much. When I got to Phoenix, I've finally got good bikes. One of the first long ones to the California border, and me and my mom went to a powwow. I had a job on the Queen Mary 2 days, but
What was your job on the ship? The Queen
I was
Mary?
a pantry chef for the Sir Winston Churchill.
Isn't Queen Mary in Long Beach?
Long Beach.
Okay.
We had the powwow in beautiful Compton, and I went down to the ship and said, could I get a job? Well, come back after the weekend and the holiday weekend, and I was more or less getting hired, but I wasn't gay or a chef, so I didn't fit in with the other waiters.
Did you find actually Compton to be beautiful, or you just...
I had no problem with much of any of the LA area I pedaled through. I thought I went all the way up to Redondo Beach and stayed in youth hostel, and I had from that LA, maybe it was just... Not Newport Beach. I'll get them confused. Directly west of that. Mm-hmm. But then I went to Oceanside, stayed a weekend, went up, got the job. It didn't last.
All on your bicycle?
I had to take the bus after I wore out my knees because I overloaded the bike when I went to California first. But I did do two separate trips, one from the LA to Diego, and then when I bused back to Diego, I made it or from Oceanside to San Diego, and I didn't come back home to Arizona with the last money. I had enough for a bus or maybe make it across the desert with that much food.
Tell me about your last big trip.
Okay, I could get more information if anybody wanted, but I left Marfa.
Do you have more you want to say? Go ahead.
I went... my last wonderful trip, loaded down the bike with all the stuff I could possibly need, and I just rode like a Sunday ride, and I made it to Tucumcari, 500 miles in a week, at least around 60 miles a day.
Was this a planned trip, or you just took a wrong
Well,
turn?
I knew I wanted to get to Route 66. Actually, I still may wish to retire, maybe get a job in a motel or someplace where I can utilize more of all my skills, manage the place. I could have maybe been a short order cook, do home health care for somebody there. So possibly Route 66. If I find a job, then I'll get there.
How long was your bicycle journey?
1 week for that one. The wind changed, and I knew everybody wanted me back here for my expertise and inexpensive labor, so I had Ben come and pick me up.
I want to end on this question. How much would you say, if any, if at all, your dreams and ambitions and philosophy and personality have changed since you were a kid?
I'm not too sure. I think I'm able to be living out some of my childhood. You stay youthful by riding a bike. Some would say grow up and get a car. And, well, I've had dozens of cars. I've been a professional driver. And as I've heard a lot of others say, I had the house, the family, and responsibilities. That all fell south for me, bankruptcy and divorce. And for one's health, to keep it simple, get rid of the credit bills, and I just still buy too much. But an important thing for your health is to help others, and I think everybody's been hearing that recently too. That does your heart good. Some work, but helping others does help your spirit and your physical health and mental health as such. So. I'm near retirement. I wouldn't want to be sitting just fishing and I can't sit. I want to pedal around the world. If I win the lottery, I'm out of here. But I will still look like a poor person or junkie. I doubt that I can stop that because like it's a disease. I was called junkie man and would almost be a hoarder. I've had too much stuff and try to keep it like that way. But I think just living a fair life, lucky I've had the opportunity to work and help people. And progress. I've helped doing other things. I just hope I can get a go vacation and pedal and camp and maybe teach guitar. I've loaned the guitars out
Custodial
too.
Mark, let's end on that. Thank you very much for the Streamtime Radio Project interview.
Pelamia.
Let's end on a song. Say goodbye.
Au revoir, el Wiedersehen, hasta la vista, adios, sayonara, arrivederci, das vidania, ciao, aloha, sayonara, dobranoc, dzień dobry, dziękuję.
Wow, that's great.
Pelamia.
That's great. And get your guitar and play for a minute or two, and we'll end with that.
Hello, good friends. My relatives
It's
were...
Mark Graybeal playing a song, ending with his guitar work. Look from around town and say hello. Go ahead.